Alright, welcome everyone. Jonas Schwickert here, and I greet you to this lesson on my YouTube channel where I'm going to teach you Boogie Woogie piano from zero. So it doesn't matter what age you're at, it doesn't matter what level you're at, if you're a complete beginner, this is perfect for you. I'm gonna make it so easy for you. We're gonna cover 7 steps so that you can play this groove that I just played in the little intro. And each of these steps are particularly aligned in the right order. So it's step by step for you with zero overwhelm. And I'm also going to show you at the end how to practice this going forward so that you can sound super impressive in just a few more days of practicing what you learned today. And you can hopefully even play it for some of your friends and family. I'll also show you some secret hand independence exercises. So something where you can learn to play both hands together, because this is often the kryptonite for beginner Boogie Woogie students. I know this from teaching thousands of students Boogie Woogie piano, and I'll show you some specific exercises just for that. And yeah, let's jump into it. Hope you're excited. Put the video in full screen, pay attention, work with me through this, and let's go. So, step number 1 will always be to learn a bass line. The bass line is the whole foundation of what makes Boogie Woogie Boogie Woogie. You can view the bass line almost like a train, right? This is a great analogy. A train that is always moving forward and doesn't stop for anyone. This is the bass line we're gonna look at. Now I want you to copy my fingering exactly. You're going to place your 5th finger on this key, that's a C. And then your 2nd finger on this key, that's a G. Within this bass line we have 2 positions. Alright, so we're staying in one shape. The hand doesn't change the shape, but the positions change. So this is the 1st position, and this is the 2nd position. 1st position, 2nd position. 1st position, 2nd position. So do this with me. Just gonna alternate between these 2 positions. All you're changing is your 2nd finger out to your 1st finger. The thumb is the 1st, the index is the 2nd. 2nd, 1st, and the C at the bottom stays the same. Nice. Now we're gonna alternate between these positions 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives us one measure of music. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just played the bass line 4 times in a row. I want you to view it as individual blocks, right? It's not a continuous thing. You're gonna separate everything in your mind as one measure. One measure is 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. All right, so that's 1 bar, 2, 3, 4. We get another bar, and so on. Next, we're gonna play the bass line from F. So you're gonna shift your fingers, or your whole hand rather, from this position, the bottom key is C, up to this position, where the bottom key is now F. So you can orient yourself always on the bottom keys, because the top key is always within the same distance. So your shape of your hand stays the same. And this is an important thing to learn Boogie Woogie in an effective way, to look at everything as a shape, like a Lego block, instead of all of these notes, which is super confusing for beginners. So put your shape of your hand onto the F, and then you play the same pattern. Check it out. Same rhythm, same pattern, just from a different spot on the keyboard. Very good. Now you move your hand shape 1 more note upwards from the G now. And you play the same pattern again. Very good. This is already everything to create the structure of Boogie Woogie piano. Because when we're playing Boogie Woogie, in 99% of cases, we're only gonna play our bass line from these 3 positions. From C, from F, and from G. Now, in what order are we playing this in? Well, that gives us step number 2. So that's step number 1 done, learning the pattern in general. Now, step number 2 is the 12-bar blues progression. This is the harmony progression that blues and boogie-woogie music always follows. So I'm going to put something on screen here that you can follow. This is the 12-bar blues progression, and I mentioned earlier, 4 beats fit into 1 bar. So that means we play the bass line for 4 beats, and then we have 1 bar done. And as you can see, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th bar is on C, 5th and 6th is on F, 7th and 8th is on C again, and then 9th and 10th is on G, or you can also go 9th on G and then 10th on F. That's what we're gonna do. And then 11 and 12 is on C again. And then you repeat that progression, and that is the whole structure of where you can then later layer on awesome riffs in the right hand. Just by following that progression with a bass line in place. So let's play this progression together one time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second bar, 2, 3, 4. Third bar, 4th bar. Now up to F. 5th bar, 6th bar. Back to C on the 7th bar, and 8th. 2, 3, 4. Now G. 3, 4, 1. F for 10th bar, and then 11th and 12th also on C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then we're back in bar number 1. Now, your homework right now is to just do that for a couple of run-throughs. You can pause the video here to look at the progression there, so you can follow that, and just play it through the 12-bar blues nice and slow, so that you kind of ingrain that progression already before we look at step number 3. And also, if you want an easier time following this 12-bar blues progression, I have a cheat sheet. It's completely free. It's the ultimate boogie-woogie cheat sheet for beginners. You can get that from the 2nd or 1st link in the description. You put in your email, I send it to you, and then you have a 30-page PDF that includes this 12-bar blues progression. It also includes this pattern on the piano, visually outlined, so you can literally just print that out, stick it on your piano, and you have a much easier time and a faster time going forward and learning this and also then practicing it. So go into the description and click that link. It takes 10 seconds, and I'll send it to your email right away, the cheat sheet. It's free. And then we can continue on to step number 3 once you grabbed that resource. All right, step number 3 will be to learn our right hand lick. Now, in Boogie Woogie and Blues, there's hundreds of licks and riffs that you're going to be learning, and these all make use of shapes on the keyboard. The one we're going to be learning looks like this. That's the lick that we're going to be learning, and then I'm going to show you later also how to slightly change the lick a little so you can even improvise a bit with it. I'll show you that later though. But for now, we're just going to copy exactly how I show you. So from the middle C, that's the middle C, you're going to place your hand, your right hand, onto this G and this G as an octave. You're not playing these as an octave, you're just placing it there. Okay, so these are the same notes, just 8 keys out besides each other in between. And this is the shape that we're starting the riff in. So you're going to place your hand here, and then the notes we're playing to start the riff are going to be E flat and G. You're going to drop down to E with the same finger, then C, and you're walking down to the G, grab over with your 2nd and 5th finger, play this F and C, then D, E flat, G and C together, C, E flat and A, and then E and C. Okay? So it's split up into 3 sections. The first section is... So you might as well just repeat that, because every riff has a few positions again, right? It's one shape here that you're in the first position. So you're gonna go E flat, E, and walk down. You can just repeat this, because your brain learns better from repeating a small section, a micro step, over and over, and then combining it at the end. And you can also use this later on when you're improvising with this riff. Alright? The second section is going to be the grab over, so you're shifting your hand position onto this F and C, and then a little walk up. So F and C, D, E flat, E. And it's important to use the same finger here, D, E flat, and E with the same finger, right? You can repeat this too. And guys, it's so beautiful to repeat it this way, because it really splits up the riff for you into different sections you can use voluntarily. So you don't always have to play it in the copy-paste way that I show you. You're actually learning 3 riffs in a way here. You know, you're learning this one, you're learning this one, and then the last section, the third, is just gonna be from this G and C, and then it's C alone, and then E flat and A, and then E and C to finish off. Right? Even that could be a riff on its own. See? And this is how I like to teach, you know, not just copy pasting all the time, but actually turning you into a player who understands what he's doing and can navigate your way around the keyboard. If you split every riff up and learn to think in shapes and such. Now let's combine all these 3 sections one more time. And 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. One last time. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Very, very nice. That's our riff. You can keep practicing this for another minute or so, because practicing solo is important before we're gonna put both hands together. But that's step 3 done. Congratulations, you're doing very well. Very proud of you for reaching this point. You can take a breather, because next we're going to be putting both hands together. But before we do that, step number 4 is going to be to build some hand independence before we even do that. Before we play both hands together, there's a couple exercises I want to show you where you can build your hand independence and train that skill from step 0, you know, from level 0, because putting both hands together is the hardest challenge for everyone in the beginning. So it's really effective and will save you a bunch of frustration and time if you go through some specific exercises first. So I'll show you one now. The first exercise I want you doing, you play your bass line on the left hand and you're gonna grab your right hand and you're just gonna start waving individual fingers of your right hand back at you. And you'll see this is kind of hard. Sometimes it might happen that you will like mess up your left hand there, and that's fine. Then you just jump in again. And you try to keep a steady rhythm in your left hand while you do it. Steady rhythm, no interruptions. And just wave your fingers randomly. You can go like back and forth. You can go each finger multiple times. You can go thumb, second finger, middle finger. So you see I'm just shifting my focus here from my fingers to my bass line. And this is how hand independence is built. by shifting your focus to something else that is not your bass line for just a few seconds before putting it back to your bass line, because obviously you gotta, see what you're doing and what you're playing. So my focus is always going finger, but sometimes it's going back to the bass line, right? And I want to focus on the fingers, I'm concentrating, but I gotta go back to the bass line with my focus for a bit too. So that shift, each of those shifts boosts your hand independence slightly. And this is the secret to actually getting to a level where you can play both hands freely, you can improvise, you can talk to someone while playing if you do these exercises, right? And that's just one of many that you can do to build that hand independence. I like to give the analogy, each mental shift from your bass line towards something else, like your fingers waving or playing a riff on the right hand, which is too complex for the beginning, that's why we start with finger waving. Each of those shifts back and forth is like doing one squat for your brain, right? Or like one bench press or one bicep curl for your brain. So you build your independence muscle whenever you shift your focus. And when you have like a small hiccup, but you readjust, you relocate, you refocus, right? So that's why this works so well. Now, this is step 4, just waving your fingers at each other. And this is such a good exercise, so do this. And now, if you want all other exercises, that would make this video way too long, but I have a free 5-day course where every day you get one of these exercises sent to your email. Just these small 5-minute exercises, super easy to digest every day. Something new that you're gonna do with your right hand or with your mental focus, like read a book while playing, draw something while playing, cool stuff that's actually fun. That will build your hand independence gradually, and after the 5 days, you're gonna have a way easier time to play both hands together, which we're gonna do in the next step anyway. But if the next step is too hard for you, then you go through those 5 days and then you come back to this lesson, and then you're not even gonna recognize how your hands work together on the keyboard. So sign up to that. That's a 5-day challenge. Okay, it's called the Hand of God Challenge. Link in the description. You put in your email just how the cheat sheet works, and it gets sent to you every day with a new, small, easy peasy exercise, so you can boost your hand independence, become a great player that can wow any audience in an effective way. All right, so sign up to that right now. I'll wait for you here, and then we're gonna move into step 5, which is gonna be playing both hands together. All right, welcome back. I hope you grabbed the free course, Hand of God Challenge. And now let's dive into step 5, which is gonna be play both hands together. So our riff that we learned has a specific rhythm to it. We've been counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? For each bar. But now for each bar, we're gonna upgrade and we're gonna add just one small little note or one small little verbal cue in between each beat. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, usually. But in between the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4, there will be now an and note. This is how you count rhythm. You count swing rhythm, specifically often with an and note. So you're gonna go 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. This is important because in the right hand we're playing eighth notes, in the left hand we're playing quarter notes. All that means is left hand is only playing on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the and notes on the left hand are empty, but the right hand is playing on the 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And that's relevant because when we're matching this up, we're gonna have to count 1, and, see that? This is together, the and, sorry, this one is together, and the and note, the next note of the riff, is solo on the right hand. So you got always 1 together, then the next note is solo, this one is together again, next one is solo, this one is together again, solo, together. So there's always 1 in between. Check it out. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, very slow and just align these and count in your head or even verbally. You go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here in the last note, this is the only difference of the riff, where the last note here so keep repeating this. Once you're ready, we're going to take it through the 12-bar blues progression. We're going to do this together. Now, here's what I can give you for advice if this is too hard right now, even just playing it together on C. Firstly, isolate the riff on the right hand for longer. So just play the right hand solo, how I showed you. Maybe rewind the section where I showed it to you. And just rewind that and play it solo for longer so that it ingrains more in your memory and your mind, muscle memory too. So you know more which notes are coming next and also the finger movements and such. All right? So that's the first thing. Second thing, go through the 5-day Hand of God challenge to boost your hand independence in an easier way than trying to really frustrate yourself putting things together too soon. If it works for you already, phenomenal. Still go through the 5-day challenge, but yeah, that's what you need. The hand independence is what you need to really make this work. But let's now play it together through the 12-bar blues. Check it out. We're going to start in bar 1, all right, on C. We're just going to play it for 12 bars, the same riff over and over. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now we move up to F. To G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Back down to C, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Wow, great job. Now I don't expect you to immediately be able to play with me here, so you can slow the video down and just repeat that section so that you have me as like a guideline how it should sound rhythmically, and also that I'm counting for you, you know, until you can do it yourself. And then that'll be a huge benchmark that you can practice this 12-bar blues progression every day, right? For a few times until it reaches this tempo. And then it already sounds pretty phenomenal. Don't you think? Pretty cool. Okay. Also on G, when I was playing, I was staying on G 2 times instead of going G and then on F. This is interchangeable. You can do either or, and it's good to explore both options. So just keep that in mind. And then we're going to move on to the next steps, 6 and 7. 7 will be learning an ending, and 6 you can potentially skip this step. But I wanted to throw it in here because I like teaching this way, where it really cherishes each student's individual ability to get creative and also to build that ability early on with improvising. Now, we're going to fall back to the topic I taught you earlier about the riff. It's split up into 3 sections, right? This first one, the second one, and the third one. What does that give us? That gives us 3 structured sections that if we practice them independently, we can pick and choose from and change how we string them together. We don't always have to go. We can also go. So all I'm doing is either I'm playing the same section multiple times, or I'm leaving a little pause in between one section and the other, you know? And 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1. First section, right? Staying here for a long time. It builds a lot of tension. You see what I mean? I was just giving you some examples here because there's not that much for me to teach you here because I want you to explore this yourself. But you can just practice each section for 12 bars, for example. You can go play that for 12 bars. Add some pauses. Shift your octaves. And so on. Then you can do another section. You can mix and match. Cool. Sure, this might be hard technically for now. So, you know, choose this step, go through it when you're ready, maybe after the 5-day Hand of God challenge, where you build your hand independence. And when you really mastered step 5, how I told you, you know, just playing the riff, how I taught it, through the 12-bar blues progression. That's already awesome. You know, that already sound extremely impressive and really kickstart your journey to your future as a boogie woogie player. But yeah, so that's step 6, okay? So explore that when you feel ready. And now step 7 will be learning an ending. All we're really doing is the same thing with both hands, okay? I will show you. It occurs on, it's important to note, on bar 11 and 12. Okay, so after coming back from the bar 9 and 10, go on to C, right, for bar 11 and 12, but instead of playing the bass line, we substitute that for the ending. And that is the ending. I will show you that now, okay? So, left hand is playing C, then E, then F sharp, and then G, and then you're walking up to the C from the G. So G, you're walking up. Fingering is gonna be 5th, 3rd, and then I like to use the thumb here. Then I like to use the F sharp, the 3rd finger. So you're going thumb, and then you're throwing your 3rd finger over. Then you're gonna go onto the G with your thumb again, and then you're throwing your 3rd finger over again. to climb up, right? Because you want the fingers all to line up. So if you just put your third over after the G, then you have your fingers perfectly lined up to play the rest, right? So 5th finger, 3rd finger, 1st finger, 3rd finger, 1st finger, 3rd finger, 2nd finger, 1st finger, okay? Nice. Now the rhythm is this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right hand is going to do the same thing. Exact same notes. And when we play them together, sounds very cool. So you're gonna play C, E, and I actually like doing the C with the thumb, the E with the 3rd finger, then you're gonna throw your thumb under onto the F, then you're gonna play the F sharp with your 3rd finger, G with your 1st again. So you're climbing up, right? Ba, 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 ba. Okay. But you want to practice these separately because the fingering is different for both hands. So you gotta really ingrain that before you can put it together. But you know, if you use a different finger here and there, it doesn't matter that much for the ending, as long as you hit the right notes in the right rhythm. So let's try that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. Just repeat that a bunch of times. Okay, and then we're gonna put it into context. So we're gonna come from our riff, and then you stay here, and then you jump down, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you repeat again from the G. That you practice it in the context of where it actually comes in, right? That's very important. So start your bass line and riff from the G, go down to the F, finish your riff, and then you play the ending. Now, after the little walk-up ending, there's one more thing you play, which is just gonna be a chord on the beat 1. So we're gonna choose this C6 chord in the right hand. These are the notes: E, G, A, C. And left hand, we're playing an octave. This will be the finishing chord, the finishing note, tone of the whole song. Right? So we're gonna hold this one down. We're gonna go and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, and then you just let it clink out, right? And that's how you end Boogie Woogie. So you go. It comes. See that? I'm combining all of that. One more time. Here it comes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Nice. Hey, congratulations, because you just learned a Boogie Woogie. All there is really to it to get started in around 30-ish minutes or something like that. You learned so much. You can be really proud of yourself. If you're coming here from zero experience, even more so, but also if you have some experience, just to learn it in a structured format like this is gonna do wonders for your brain. You know, there's studies that show learning new things, especially also at an older age, is so beneficial for your brain. and learning them in a structured approach like this was hopefully enjoyable and not as overwhelming. And yeah, now your next step is to play from step number 5, the whole 12-bar blues progression with this riff over and over every day. If it's too hard for you to do that, go through the Hand of God course first, that free resource I mentioned, where you build your hand independence with fun exercises. And after the 5 days, try again, right? And you can keep doing these exercises in the future every day as well. It just takes like a minute a day to do them once you've learned them. So it's very snappy, very fun, very easy. And then every day I want you to play that 12-bar blues progression until you reach a pretty good, steady, groovy level. You know, I don't like to give a benchmark of the tempo you should reach because it's more about the control. And once you reach that level, you can add the ending onto it. You can of course also do that earlier. And you can work with step number 6 I showed you to improvise with that shape. This is key. Don't go learn a million different riffs and a million different bass lines. You gotta really internalize and familiarize yourself with one bass line and one riff, or multiple riffs, if you split them up like how I showed you, to become a great player and also to be able to learn things way quicker in the future, because you're teaching yourself not just copying what does Jonah do, or what does this teacher do, what does this teacher do. You're actually applying it in real life, and this is the only way that leads to pure freedom and joy and expressiveness with this awesome musical style, and it'll make you so confident and happy if you work it out like this, right? So work on step 6 once you're ready. Once step 5 is at a good level, combined with step 7, the ending, you know, once that's at a good level, then work with step 6. And if you don't know how to improvise, if you want more help on that, I think I have a video on that on my YouTube channel, or of course in my program. If you're in my paid Boogie Woogie program, then you can also obviously go through the whole roadmap there. But if not, I have a video on YouTube channel, and also in my email I send you some tips on that sometimes too. I also run some master classes sometimes online where I talk about this shape system as well in detail. So yeah, you'll get all that. And make sure you take it step by step, you know. You don't overwhelm yourself with a bunch of new stuff every day. And check out my other lesson. I'll put the improvisation lesson right here. I'll link it here, so you can watch that one next. And I have a bunch of other lessons on YouTube anyway, so you can check those out too. But focus on this one, you know, really take this lesson to the max, rewatch it a few more times, rewatch the sections you need the most help with. Go through the 5-day Hand of God challenge, grab the cheat sheet, and watch out for your email inbox when I send you some more tips. And yeah, then I'll see you soon. Thanks for working with me through this. Hope you enjoyed and had fun, most of all, and also learned a lot. And yeah, I'll see you in the next lesson or wherever I might see you. Take care, and let's keep the boogie alive.